Hey guys, welcome back to Words of War. My name is Jorge Guerra.
And I'm Sergio Guerra.
And this week we're going to be covering Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Has done stuff like, Hellboy 2, Pan's Labyrinth. I mean, a lot of really cool creature effect type movies. The story pretty much pits robots against monsters. And not just that, giant robots versus giant monsters. So it's kind of cool. The movie starts off pretty much with the knowledge that these aliens are attacking Earth, coming through some sort of portal from underneath the ocean, and mankind has to kind of rise up, and the only way that we can fight off giant monsters apparently is with giant robots.
Which makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. So what'd you think about it?
Well, I honestly, this is definitely, you're going to the movies to go watch giant robots versus giant monsters, so you know that. So going into the story, I do like Guillermo del Toro. I definitely, when I was watching it, I think the 3D was really good on this movie. They used it really well to kind of make you feel the scope of like the monsters and how big it was. I thought they did that awesome. Like some of the shots, like you felt the bigness of them, and I don't think a lot of pictures get that right. But so you definitely felt that scope of like how little you are compared to these huge things, as well as the robots. It's definitely a love letter to like Gundam and like all these mech, like Godzilla, like all this stuff, all these huge monster movies from past. And I thought it was done really well. So the story you gotta kind of just roll with, but in honesty, it had really strong characters, which I really liked. So I mean, sometimes when you have very likable characters, you're willing to forgive a little bit more of the story, which I thought, well, I definitely did, and there was definitely a couple parts that I was just like totally like, oh, that's awesome. But I really enjoyed it. It was a fun ride. I mean, I did totally enjoy it. What did you think?
Well, I consider myself like a fan of Guillermo del Toro, not like completely fanatic, religious or whatever. But I do like the stuff that he's done. We're seeing the commercials for this. I have to admit though that I wasn't very excited because it's giant robots and monsters. I mean, I like monster movies and all, but CG stuff I still don't like as much. And just the whole robot thing. I mean, we've just seen Transformers and all that kind of crap. So, anyways, I wasn't very excited, but actually watching the film, I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, if anything. I just can't believe I'm saying this, but if anything, Guillermo del Toro made giant robots cool again. Because I don't really think there's been movies about giant robots where people are like, oh, that's awesome. But this movie leaves you like you want more. There's tons of fights. It's all actiony. He does a great job visually. I mean, I think in all the movies that I've seen of his, but in this one specifically, George was talking about the 3D. If there's any kind of movie to see in 3D, it's like this one. Whatever they did, however they planned it out, it was really well done. You really feel a difference between seeing it in a normal screen and seeing it through 3D, and it lends itself really well to this. I also agree about the characters. There's a lot of really great character work. Some of the story, points are a little gimmicky, but I think you're gonna have to when you're dealing with this subject matter. But it never, you never really get taken out of the story by them because they're just there just to move the story along. And if anything, even during its second act, which is probably the slowest part, it still continues to pace forward, and I think that's really hard to do with something like this. And it just really made the world believable very quickly. And once you were invested in it, then I almost want to say though that you're more invested in the world and all the characters together than more than the actual main character and his partner. I mean, they're the main parts of the story, but there's just so much going on. You're not just rooting for him; you're kind of rooting for everybody. So I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
what would you rate it?
I would go with I would go probably 8.5, just because I would probably give this movie a 9 if it was a little bit stronger in the story, but just in the beginning it kind of did. I was kind of like, oh man, I don't think this is gonna go somewhere, and then everything else picked up and the characters came into play, and I really liked it. So I'm gonna go 8.5.
I'm going to agree with that, 8.5. It was a really good movie, very entertaining. Anybody can go watch this movie again, and see it and like it. I don't see almost anything wrong. It's not going to be the greatest movie ever. It's not the greatest story ever, but you're going to have lots of fun. And it definitely has a lot of rewatching value.
Yeah.
Like, I would go back and see it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and there's like little homages and little shout outs if you're an anime fan and all this different stuff.
yeah,
like,
Godzilla
really cool.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of little tiny things in it. Charlie Day's in it too, and he's funny,
he's
you know.
hilarious in it, yeah.
So, anyways, that's my take on it.
Yeah, so I mean, so if you're looking for something to watch, we would definitely recommend this. But again, this is Jorge Guerra.
Sergio Guerra. Let us know what you think. If you like the movie, if you don't like the movie, if you agree or disagree, just leave your comments down below and subscribe and like if you like it. So that's it for us.
Yeah,
I'll
so
see you
see ya.
later. Bye.